Okay, so if we look at basically our renown, right? The point is that if you with your first character, right, rush and only do let's say stronghold farming up until you get 50, and then you just nightmare dungeon all the way through and you rush to 100. The point is that a lot of these regions for you are going to be almost no renown past, I would say, this point. You probably, because remember, your Altars of Lilith and your map progress carries over into the game, which means you're gonna stop just under this skill point. You're gonna have just less renown than getting this second skill point here, which means that you don't have the 80 obols, which it's not that big a deal, but you don't have the 4 paragon points. This renown you would have to grind out. And that means doing things like waypoints and strongholds and side quests and fucking side dungeons. So my approach is actually going to be that with my first character, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move across the entire map and I'm going to hit the waypoints. And as I hit the waypoints, I'm going to be picking up those side quests and I'm going to be doing those side quests. And as I hit the right level thresholds, I'm going to be pinging the fucking strongholds that are in those areas as well and doing them. So almost in a way, it's like a mini campaign story mode that I'm doing. I'm not going to be focusing on grinding one activity over and over and over again. And I'm going to do this as far as I can get it up until the point where I get to, let's say, close to 50 and I can do my capstone. All right. Now, if that means that I can complete 1 or 2 or 3 of the regions, the required renown, so that I have my 2 or 3 sets of paragon points available, then that means that with the follow-up character, my second character, I can then essentially complete the last 2 and then kind of like just shoot my way through. So I'm doing it in 2 different ways. My first character will be slower, right? But I mean, slower for me will also probably still be smarter than, like I read smart there now, thanks Val, but it will still be faster than most people because it's just about grinding like efficiently and moving between the areas efficiently. But the point is that I think it's way more important to have access to these paragon points and everything like that later on when you get close to 100, if you're planning on having multiple hundreds. And we are going to have the opportunity of doing that because we are going to have faster leveling in the season than we have outside in the Eternal Realm. Whether that will be the same speed as what we were able to achieve with things like getting carried and stuff like that in the Eternal Realm, probably not. But I still think it's going to be faster, and it's possible at the very least that in the time that season 1 is around, you could probably do like 2 characters to 100 if you know what you're doing. So that's pretty much my plan. All right. Don't forget season story 2 while leveling. Well, that's the thing. That's going to just help out even more because that also gives XP, right? Okay. But now, so that's my first character's plan. But now let me show you guys. And I think this is maybe if you've been watching a lot of like guides and stuff like that on basically how to power level and go as fast as possible, these pictures that I'm going to show you now are not necessarily going to be anything very new.
I get paid tomorrow, so F it lol.
Thanks for the dono, baby. So I think these ones, right, will probably not be all that new for you to see, because this information was already compiled by people way smarter, way fucking faster, and who are actual speedrunners. So you'll see a whole bunch of these videos available on the internet right now, which explain to you the most efficient path to go if the only thing that you're concerned with is as much as possible XP per minute, and you want to go as fast as possible. So in the case of you not having seen one of those videos yet, I'm going to share this process with you. Now I'll say again, this was not made by me. This is done by actual fucking speedrunners, people who are going to be pushing for world first in season 1. So the information is first of all coming from, I would say, relatively very reliable sources, and secondly has most likely taken a shitload of theory crafting to essentially assume it. The drawings, however, are mine because, you know, I'm fucking stupid like that. Okay. So when you are starting out, your first 9 levels, you can do this shit in like fucking 11 minutes. All right. And I tested it today. So you'll basically go out of the capital exactly where you start. You just ride up here. You hit this event. You ride up here. Now remember, because your map progress and everything like that carries over, all right, you'll have this area like explored and everything like that, but you won't have the waypoint. You still have to capture the waypoints on characters, right? So you can choose if you want to do that or not. Dip down, grab the waypoint if you want to. Otherwise, just ride along here and grab the second event. Okay, now I think it's probably in your best interest as you go along here to also hit sellers and stuff like that that you hit along the way. But again, sellers can sometimes, I mean, you go in there and you know, it's like a full-on fucking 2, 3, 4 minute event that you have to do in there, and sometimes you go in there and it's literally like a pack that you kill and you get a chest and boom, you get some XP. So not all sellers are built equal, right, is the point I guess that I'm trying to make. So that might be a bit hit or miss, but you know, give it a try. All right, but nonetheless, your second event pops here, you ride down here, you get your third event, all right, and then you go down to Nostrava, which is this this dungeon here, which is unfortunately a dungeon with spirits in, which I generally fucking avoid like the goddamn plague. But in this way, in doing it in this way, basically gets you the first 9 to 10 levels of your character literally in 10 minutes. It's ridiculous. It's insanely efficient. It's ridiculously fast. Okay, then after that's done, what you do, and you have to remember, right, all of the capital cities are open to you, because if you've finished the campaign already, that's automatically that way. So when you go to Saragar here, this pad here will already be open for you. Okay, so now when you arrive at Saragar, you're level 9, you're level 10, so you ride out of town, you go do this event, you ride up here, you do this event, you ride over here, you do this event, you ride over here, you do this event, and you ride over here and do this event. That's 5 events. All right, that's going to probably get you to about level 12, level 13. In my testing that I did today, that got me basically to level 12. Okay, and at this point in time, you just teleport back to Saragar and you ride your ass up here to the Stockades. Stockades, by the way, is one of the nightmare dungeons in season 1. So we know that we got a complete refresh of the nightmare dungeons. So the ones which we were doing in the preseason, they're gone now completely. They're not nightmare dungeons anymore, and we have 30 brand new ones, and Stockade is one of them. So you'll do it, obviously not a nightmare, but you'll do Stockade, and you'll just do it repeatedly until you hit like 15, which will probably take, like, for me it was almost, I would say, 2 completes. I was lucky, I had some events inside there and everything like that, but it was basically 2 completes and I was like 15. All right, now once you hit 15, we are again going to be doing some traveling. All right, from 15, we're gonna go over here to Ket Bardo on the map itself, right? And at this point in time, same thing, right? We ride out of town, we smash ourselves on an event. If that event's not there, this is just about trying to be literally as efficient as possible, right? But even if that's event not there, the main point is you're trying to make your way down to this Onyx Watchtower Stronghold. Now, the thing with, you guys might have heard this term stronghold farming and everything, and you might have thought to yourself, but how the fuck can I farm a stronghold? Because once I do a stronghold, once I finish a stronghold, it's fucking done. I can't do them again. In fact, it's one of the things that makes me the saddest, because the strongholds are some of the best content in the game. But you can finish everything up until the point where you get to the boss, right? And then you can simply leave the game and come back in, and it resets the stronghold. As long as you don't ring the bell at the end of the stronghold. And notice I said before the boss. It's even more efficient for you to not kill the boss. Literally just go up to the point of the boss, then exit out of the game, come back in, and just do the stronghold over again. Now you're gonna do that over and over and over again, leveling you up from 50 to 25. Okay, now bear in mind, this entire process that I'm explaining to you now means that you're gonna hit 50 in less than 5 hours, which is ridiculous. If you follow this blueprint, you hit 50 in less than 5 hours. Okay, so once you hit 25, it's once again time for us to be on the move and move on. And at this point in time, this is the Onyx Stronghold up here, right? So you're gonna go down from there, you're gonna ping this event here, and you're gonna ride all the way down to the Temple of Rot Stronghold. All right, this one is the one that you're gonna ride out all the way, right, till you get to about 46, 47, whatever you feel comfortable with in terms of doing your capstone, your first capstone, which is at 50. Now you can only get into, all right, that capstone at, well, sorry, I let me rephrase. the credit for you completing that capstone and opening up world tier 3 only credits you after 40, right? So anytime after 40, you can do this depending on how strong you feel your character is, depending on how, you know, what you think you are capable with in that dungeon, right? In that stronghold, in that capstone. So up until the point from 25 until whatever you want this to be, 45, 47, 42, 50, whatever, you're going to be running Temple of Rot. And the same thing again, you go up right until the end, you don't kill the boss, you fucking quit out, you come back in. The reason why we choose Temple of Rot is a lot of people, there's been mention of Core Dragon and so on. The point is, right, Temple of Rot is, if you are playing solo, it is by far the best stronghold to grind like this. If you are playing in a group, if you and 3 buddies are going to be split farming this shit and racing all the way up, right, to fucking max level, okay, you should be doing Core Dragon. Core Dragon is ridiculously good if you're in a group. If you're going solo, abso-fucking-lutely, Temple of Rot is the way to go. It has the biggest density, it has the most XP per fucking hour. It's ridiculous. So Temple of Rot is your go. I see a question here: which world tier would you play on for leveling this strat? Now, you would play world tier 2 as long as you have all of the Towers of Lilith. If you have all of the Towers of Lilith, you are starting with 5 additional skill points, which is going to give you a leg up and make world tier fucking 2 not that harsh. If you don't have that, all right, if you haven't spent the time to capture the Altars of Lilith and you haven't actually done that, then my advice to you would be to probably try out world tier 2, see if it's too harsh, and then scale down to world tier 1. But if you have, let's say, a huge amount of, maybe not even all of them, but a fair amount of the Altars of Lilith, you have those additional skill points and you have the additional fucking stat points from the altars, that's gonna give you everything that you need, and you're gonna just blast through it. It's gonna be easy peasy lemon squeezy. So that's the plan for my second character. So as mentioned, my first character, I'll spend more time in actually developing my renown, and my second character, I'll do it that way. But if you want to just completely rush like a beast and get to 50 as fast as possible, and you don't give a fuck about renown, that is 100% the way that you want to go. And that's going to get you to 50 in less than 5 hours, which is ridiculously fast. Let's be honest. I mean, you can literally the same night with the patch dropping, you can be 50 and start working on nightmare dungeons. It's nuts.